It's the taxes. He got taxes problem. It's the taxes that's killing him. So he trying to cash out. He was trying to fight, the world champ, the IBF world champ. I ain't gonna mention his name.
Haven't even done nothing.
So what do you say to those who say that you might be afraid? So what do you say to those who might be saying that, Tank is afraid of Shakur?
Afraid of what?
Keyshawn Davis and Gervonta Davis both have fights just 2 weeks apart. Yet instead of focusing on their upcoming opponents, they've been calling each other out. The two fighters are eager to settle once and for all who the greater Davis really is. Just this month in the light heavyweight division, we saw David Benavidez prove himself as the greater David against David Morrell. Now, it's time for the two Davis fighters to do the same. While we're unsure if this will lead to a fight, what really happened was that Keyshawn Davis called out Gervonta Tank Davis on the day of his press conference. The next day, just after his weigh-in, Gervonta responded in the fiercest way possible. It must be quite a turbulent time for Keyshawn, who claimed he's been under racist attacks during his fight week. As if that wasn't enough, he was pushed by his opponent during their face-off. Well, Tank feels this is the perfect warning for Keyshawn never to mention his name again.
Trying to fight the IBF world champ, that he had to realize that's not a big enough fight, and he probably lose that jump. So now he trying to come this.
Just a few months ago, Keyshawn called out Tank, and Tank responded via social media, saying the contender wasn't even worth mentioning and told him to stop clout chasing. Tank said, "That little guy's fighting on Friday night. He's not even worth mentioning, and buddy, a clown, cold idiot. Tell him to do something." Interestingly, Gervonta Davis hasn't shifted his stance this time. His response was quite deep, but even Keyshawn was very scathing in his approach.
What have he done in the sport? He haven't done nothing.
You don't think he's better than any of the guys you face?
Looking more better than him.
Who that?
The Keyshawn.
Speaking to Cigar Talk, Keyshawn said that Tank and his team were clearly worried about the challenge. "Man, that's up to Tank. Tank wants to see it for himself, send a contract. I'll sign it." Keyshawn said, outside of the potential money to be made, "I will fight him with that same energy he's coming with. He can't do all the shenanigans and all that stuff he does with other people. He can't do that stuff with me. Yes, I'm ready for that. He can't mess with me, bro." Him and his coach know that. The bald-headed dude told me, "Just don't call Tank out for the rest of the year. Those guys are worried. They want me to move to 140 to get out of 135 so I could be the big and they don't have to fight me anymore. Nah, I'm staying at 135 and I'm going to be here until you fight me."
More better than this nigga.
So you would rather
keep screaming this nigga name? He haven't done nothing.
You'd rather fight Keyshawn?
Keyshawn haven't even done nothing.
So what do you say to those who say that you might be afraid? So what do you say to those who might be saying that,
Again, while Keyshawn Davis is set for his first world title fight on Friday against Dennis Baroni, that isn't stopping him from having his sights set on one of the biggest stars in boxing. The businessman went on Fight Hub TV and spoke about a potential bout against Gervonta Tank Davis. While that fight is one that many fans would love to see, Keyshawn doesn't foresee himself receiving an offer to fight Tank. "I would love to fight Tank," Keyshawn said. "He doesn't have the balls to fight me. I really just feel that way. I don't think he really got the balls to sign a contract and fight me."
of Shakur?
Afraid of what? Afraid of what? Us fighters, if we're afraid of somebody, it gotta be somebody hitting us and hurting us. Like, he don't have no option.
Keyshawn, who was an Olympic silver medalist in 2021, has rapidly ascended the ranks and is set to fight for a world title. In just his 13th professional fight, with a win, Keyshawn would be one of the major title holders at lightweight alongside Vasyl Lomachenko, Shocker Stevenson, and Tank. While any combination of these four fighters facing off would make for one of the best fights in boxing, Keyshawn versus Tank could very well have a strong case as the best of the bunch. But for as big as that fight could be, Keyshawn said he isn't going to chase a bout against Tank.
Nigga, defense. Defense only winning basketball and football.
Rather than chasing a bout with Tank, Keyshawn plans on making his own path and seeing where that leads him. He also compared the situation to the one between Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez, saying they are the top guys, but one is waiting. for the other to show they're interested in a potential bout. I'm just waiting for you to send me a contract, bro, Keyshawn said. I feel like with me and him, making the fight is easier because everybody knows who the side is. Everybody knows what the hell is going on when it comes down to me and him. As far as making a fight, I feel like it's actually a really easy fight to make, and it's definitely easy promoting it. Keyshawn faces Baroni in a battle of unbeaten fighters on Friday at Madison Square Garden for the World Boxing Organization title. In the lightweight division, sitting on stage at his pre-fight press conference, Norfolk native Keyshawn Davis repeated the words he expects to hear at the conclusion of his first world title bout as a professional boxer.
Just gotta stay there.
Keyshawn Davis is ready to officially declare himself the new WBO champion in the lightweight division as he sits across from his opponent, current title holder Dennis Baroni. Davis was adamant about Friday's outcome, predicting a knockout. The 25-year-old has been steadily climbing the lightweight ranks, amassing a perfect 12-0 record and growing star power. A belt would further solidify his standing in the boxing world, especially in the stacked lightweight division. This will be Davis's second time headlining a card, and the fight will take place at the Madison Square Garden Theater.
Everybody remain in your seats.
It's a real blessing, man. I knew since he called my name out after he won his last fight. I just had a feeling I was going to fight him for the world championship. I never thought it was going to be at Madison Square. Davis said, I appreciate Top Rank and ESPN for believing in me this much to bring a fight like this to Madison Square. We could have fought anywhere, but they know I'm the future of Top Rank. They know I'm the future of the sport. And they wanted to headline me for my second headliner here at Madison Square. With both fighters undefeated and a title on the line, the stakes for the fight were already high. But Davis revealed an added motivation during the presser. I want to address the fact that this guy came to America to give me bananas and watermelon, with a note on it. It's unprofessional, and I feel like it's racist. He just made this fight a little more personal, Davis said.
He even showed up to my room, and it was like, it's something here for you. And I wasn't there. My friend was there, and he was asking what it was. The guy just kept insisting.
He posted a picture of the package and an accompanying note on his social media. Y'all heard what I said. This man brought a box of bananas and a watermelon. He brought a box of bananas and watermelon to America to bring to my room, and I took. It is racist. So I got something for you. Davis repeated. Berinchyk, who is Ukrainian, responded on stage through a translator, saying, I don't speak English, and I don't write English because I saw his message in the media. It's weird. Even to mention this, some people with bad intentions looking for some hype made this. They said,
bring it in. So my friend was like, "Man, fuck it, just bring it in." So he brought it in, and he don't open none of the stuff that I get. So I opened it, and there was a note.
Davis responded quickly, saying, y'all did it. It's okay that you all did it. I'm going to whoop your head for it. So just come Friday night. Just know what's going to happen to the both of you. Davis has built a reputation for entertaining press conferences, and Wednesday was no different. Berinchyk claimed that the presser would be Davis's time, while the fight on Friday would be his. Davis was having none of that, though, saying, every time I fight, I put on performances. Every single time I fight, before the fight, leading up to the fight, I have great press conferences. I have great weigh-ins. This is nothing new. This is not a new act that the businessman is doing. The only thing that's new is my haircut and this suit. That's the only thing that's new. Friday night, y'all know what I'm going to do. Davis, known as the businessman, is coming off an emphatic second-round knockout of Gustavo Lemos in November. At the Scope in Norfolk, Berinchyk, 36 years old with a 19-0 record, hasn't fought since winning the WBO lightweight title in May of 2024.
First on the box, and then I opened it, it was a box of bananas and watermelons. And I could tell how I was reading it. It wasn't nobody from America that wrote that, you know how to speak proper English.
Keyshawn Davis has the chance to make history with a victory, becoming Norfolk's first boxing world champion since the legendary Colonel Sweet Pea Whitaker. Although it was the eve of Valentine's Day, there was no love lost between Davis and Dennis Baroni. At the weigh-in on Thursday afternoon at Madison Square Gardens Theater in New York, Davis appeared much more calm and composed compared to his fiery demeanor at the contentious press conference the day before. In contrast, Baroni still carried an intense energy, showing that the bad blood between the two was far from over. The heated exchange from the press conference added even more fuel to the fire, hiding the anticipation for their upcoming fight.
Not only that, at the end of the message, it said businesswoman. He called me a businesswoman yesterday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that just put the icing on the cake.
Tempers flared once again after both fighters successfully made weight on Thursday afternoon. Ahead of their lightweight title fight at the theater at Madison Square Garden, Keyshawn Davis, who is challenging for his first world title, taunted the defending WBO lightweight champion, Baroni, by rubbing and tugging at the belt that rested on Baroni's shoulder. During their stare-down following the weigh dash and dot despite the provocation, the unbeaten WBO lightweight champion remained calm as the two posed for photos. However, when Davis flexed his muscles in front of Baroni, the tension boiled over. Baroni shoved Davis in the back, sending him off the slightly elevated stage. Davis, quick on his feet, managed to catch himself with one foot touching the floor, but wasn't injured. He immediately jumped back onto the stage and went after Baroni, but security personnel and others swiftly intervened to keep the fighters separated.
Seats, please. Everybody remain in your seats.
Once Baroni was escorted out of the room following the weigh-in, Keyshawn Davis spoke to Top Rank's Christina Puncher about his upcoming world title fight. "It doesn't matter if I'm rattled or calmed down. He's getting knocked out in the first round tomorrow night," Davis confidently stated, "so he can say whatever he wants to say. If I'm rattled, okay, I'm rattled. If I'm not rattled, he's still going to get knocked out in the first round." At 25 years old, Davis weighed in with a determined focus ahead of the highly anticipated bout.
As if you needed to be heated up or gassed up anymore.
After the altercation, Baroni left the stage without giving an interview to Top Rank's Christina Puncher. Baroni, a Ukrainian fighter, is making the first defense of the belt he won last May with a split decision over Emmanuel Navarrete. He weighed in at 134.6 pounds, while Davis, a rising star on the Top Rank roster, checked in at 134.2 pounds. While Davis and Baroni clearly have some differences to settle, they share some striking similarities as well. Both are undefeated, with Baroni holding a 19-0 record and Davis coming in at 12-0. Additionally, they both earned Olympic silver medals, Baroni at the 2012 London Games and Davis at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
I got pushed, racist slanders, all type of, they try to get me out my game. Damn. People that's not even here, people that don't got nothing to do with the fight, try to get me out my game. What's going on?
Davis from Norfolk, Virginia, had a clear height advantage in their stare-down, standing 2 inches taller at 5'9". Meanwhile, there was less hostility among the other boxers on the card. Veto Melnick, Jr. 21, weighed in at 159.5 pounds for their 10-round co-featured bout. The 22-year-old Melnick from nearby Roseland, New Jersey, is aiming for his 12th straight victory, while the 34-year-old Coyle from Derry, Northern Ireland, is making his New York debut.
Yo, but what about Keyshawn saying that the Tank is target practice? You heard that audio?
I like how Keyshawn, he's clout chasing. Bring up Tank's name, sell your fight, get the most
That's
views
what Morrell.
on it.
Keyshawn Davis is a fighter who isn't shy about making bold claims ahead of his February 14th bout. Keyshawn has declared his intention to knock Baroni out in the very first round. For Keyshawn, this isn't just about winning, it's about making a statement to the entire boxing world, particularly against Gervonta Tank Davis, whom he has openly challenged for a unification fight. The undefeated fighter, nicknamed the Businessman, has been vocal about his desire to face Tank next should he emerge victorious on Friday night. However, he has also expressed doubts about whether Tank has the courage to take him on.
I would prefer Tank Davis, the top guy.
I would go for the top guy. If I could choose, I would choose Tank Davis. I would not Tank short it out. Tank is a great fighter. Hats off to Tank. I'm not even about to just do all that. Like, Tank is a great fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody knows that. He got the power, he got the skill and ability. He's patient. You know what I'm saying? But I know who I am.
Keyshawn's confidence is undeniable, but some might argue that his approach borders on arrogance. His prediction of a first-round knockout against Baroni, a seasoned and respected fighter, has drawn criticism, with many labeling it as over the top. Keyshawn is no stranger to such scrutiny. Throughout his career, he has positioned himself as a rising star, someone who believes his charisma and talent make him an undeniable force in the lightweight division. Yet, as of now, his claims of being a star in the sport remain unproven, with his popularity primarily concentrated within his hometown of Norfolk, Virginia.
You got a chance to work with Gervonta out here in Vegas. What was that experience like? Anything you could share?
The experience was great, and what's crazy about that is this time around, it was like, all right, we older now. There's more skills involved. It's like, all right, now let's see how it's going to go this time. And
what's striking is the way Keyshawn talks about his potential match with Tank Davis in his eyes. The fight is an inevitability, two big personalities destined to collide and generate massive buzz in the boxing world. He even went as far as to say that promoting such a fight would be easy because it practically markets itself. Davis versus Davis, still undefeated fighters with contrasting styles and attitudes. Keyshawn believes this fight would not only showcase his skills, but also elevate his status to the level of Tank, who is widely regarded as one of boxing's biggest stars.
Tank said he's now the new face of boxing. What do you think?
for sure, he's the face of boxing. I don't have no problem with saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he deserves everything that's coming to him. He's the face of boxing for sure.
And he's that guy. You talked about how good Shakur is. Do you think people sleep on Tank's skills? Because they just see him as a knockout artist?
Who sleep on Tank's skills? Nah, don't nobody sleep on Tank. Like,
however, the reality might not be as straightforward as Keyshawn imagines. Tank Davis, with a record of 30-0 and a reputation as a devastating puncher, has little incentive to entertain a fight. With Keyshawn at this point, Tank has plenty of established contenders vying for a shot, many of whom would bring far more credibility and financial upside to the table than Keyshawn. It's no secret that Tank's name carries significant weight in the sport, and any fight involving him is bound to draw massive attention. Keyshawn, on the other hand, is still in the process of proving himself at the elite level, making his callouts feel premature to some. Despite this, Keyshawn remains relentless. He has gone out of his way to antagonize Tank, even questioning his masculinity and character. Keyshawn's description of Tank having a feminine way and his assertion that Tank lacks the balls to face him are clearly intended to provoke a response. Whether this strategy will pay off remains to be seen, but it's clear that Keyshawn is determined to get under Tank's skin. His comments reveal a fighter who not only craves the spotlight, but also thrives on stirring up drama to keep his name in the headlines. Interestingly, Keyshawn's ambitions don't end with Tank. Should the unification fight not materialize, he has already set his sights on Isaac Pitbull Cruz, a former WBA lightweight title challenger known for his aggressive style. Keyshawn sees a fight with Pitbull as another opportunity to make a statement, one that would appeal to fans and generate significant financial rewards for both fighters. In his typical fashion, Keyshawn has framed this potential matchup as a clash of cultures, to stars representing different fan bases coming together in a high-stakes showdown.
You sparred him. You said when you get in there, you can feel a person's energy. We've had plenty of trainers tell us that Tank is a great boxer, not just this puncher that we see. He just hasn't, quote unquote, had to show it. I feel like you've seen some of that in the Isaac Cruz fight, especially with the one hand. He had to show.
However, not everyone is convinced by Keyshawn's bravado. Critics argue that he's been carefully managed by his promoter, Top Rank, who have ensured he avoids risky fights that could derail his career. One glaring example is his refusal to fight any Cruz, the 2020 Olympic gold medalist who defeated Keyshawn for times in the amateur ranks. Keyshawn has dismissed Cruz as irrelevant, claiming he lacks a fan base and isn't on his level. Yet, many see this as an attempt to dodge a fight that could expose his vulnerabilities. Cruz, who has looked impressive in his early professional outings, poses a legitimate threat, and Keyshawn's unwillingness to face him has led to accusations of fear and opportunism.
Tank's skill is phenomenal, but I just feel like he's offense first. I feel like he's offense first, or I feel like Tank is the type of fighter where he'll either be offensive first, or he's very, 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 very patient, and then just try to catch you slipping. You know what I'm saying? And,
Keyshawn's critics have also pointed to his performances against lesser opponents, which they argue haven't lived up to the hype. Fights against Miguel Maggio and Nahir Albright, for example, have been cited as evidence that Keyshawn still has much to prove before he can legitimately claim to be on the same level as fighters like Tank Davis. While his talent is undeniable, his tendency to talk big without backing it up in the ring has made him a polarizing figure in the sport. In many ways, Keyshawn's approach mirrors that of Edgar Berlanga, another fighter who was heavily promoted by Top Rank before eventually parting ways with the company. Berlanga was billed as a knockout artist early in his career, but as the level of competition increased, his flaws became more apparent. Similarly, Keyshawn's loud proclamations and selective matchmaking have led some to view him as a manufactured star rather than a genuine contender. Keyshawn's obsession with Tank Davis seems to be driven by more than just professional ambition. His comments suggest a personal dislike for Tank, whom he accuses of being unpredictable and insincere. At the same time, Keyshawn is quick to emphasize that he doesn't need Tank to define his career. He insists that he is carving out his own path and building his own brand, regardless of whether the fight with Tank ever happens. Yet, his constant references to Tank tell a different story, one of a fighter who knows that a win over someone of Tank's stature could change his life forever. For now, Keyshawn's focus is on Baroni, but his mind is clearly already on what comes next, whether it's Tank, Pitbull Cruz, or another high-profile opponent. Keyshawn seems intent on positioning himself as a major player in the lightweight division. However, the question remains, can he back up his words with actions? His performance on February 14th will undoubtedly provide some answers, but until then, his bold claims will continue to divide opinion among fans. Well, what do you think? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.